This is insane, but they want you to think it's normal. Hey guys, Britt here. Welcome to End Times Bible Prophecy. The latest Silicon Valley pursuit is nothing less than outright insanity, but they want you to believe it's normal. What am I talking about? I'm talking about gene-edited babies. That's right, designer babies. So in today's video, we're going to talk about who is pursuing this, what they're saying about it, and why the very idea of this is an affront to God. And this is a rebellion that's ultimately, it's leading straight to Armageddon is where all of this is headed. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, in case you missed it, over at the Substack on Saturday, brittgillette.substack.com, we put out this video. This is how it all falls apart, a step-by-step guide to what happens next. This is about the economy, the debt-based global monetary system in particular, and as it comes to its end, what is that going to look like? They're going to push everyone into this digital prison system that I believe is a forerunner to the Mark of the Beast system. But how is the end of this debt-based monetary system? What is it going to look like? I think it's going to be the exact opposite of what most people expect to happen. So that's what we talked about on Saturday. So if you missed that, make sure to check that out over at brittgillette.substack.com. Now, back to what we're talking about today. They want to edit the genes of babies. You don't have to take my word for it. We can read right here in MIT Technology Review. It says, here's the latest company planning for gene-edited babies. Entrepreneurs say it's time to, quote, safety test designer baby technology. And yes, this came out on when many people celebrate Halloween. It's not, but this is a real story. It's just as evil and creepy. It says a West Coast biotech entrepreneur says he's secured $30 million to form a public benefit company. It's a public benefit company, right? So it must be good. A public benefit company to study how to safely create genetically edited babies, marking the largest known investment into the taboo technology. The new company, called Preventive, is being formed to research so-called, quote, heritable genome editing, in which the DNA of embryos would be modified by correcting harmful mutations. Harmful? What's harmful? Well, they'll decide what's harmful. Or installing beneficial genes. Again, what is beneficial? Well, they'll decide that. The goal would be to prevent disease, right? That's the goal. But of course, they'll move that goal. They'll make it whatever they want it to be. It says Preventive was founded by the gene editing scientist Lucas Harrington, who described his plans yesterday in a blog post announcing the venture. Again, this was back in October. Preventive, he said, will not rush to try out the technique. So he didn't say they won't try it out. We're not going to rush to. Well, again, what does that mean? But instead will dedicate itself to, quote, rigorously researching whether heritable genome editing can be done safely and responsibly. So they're going to rigorously research it. You know, again, what are the odds, do you think, that he's going to draw the ultimate conclusion after his rigorous research that, yes, it can be done safely and responsibly, so let's rush out and try it? Right? What do you think those odds? I think those odds are pretty high. It says, creating genetically edited humans remains controversial. Well, yeah. And the first scientist to do it in China was imprisoned for 3 years. So even in China, they think this is a terrible idea. The procedure remains illegal in many countries, including the United States, and doubts surround its usefulness as a form of medicine. Well, because it's not a form of medicine. Still, as gene editing technology races forward, The temptation to shape the future of the species may prove irresistible, particularly to entrepreneurs keen to put their stamp on the human condition. In theory, even small genetic tweaks could create people who never get heart disease or Alzheimer's. And I could say, or it could also create people who are no longer human, right? Who are other animals entirely, and who would pass those traits on to their own offspring. According to Harrington, if the technique proves safe, quote, it could become one of the most important health technologies of our time. And I'm sure he would say one of the most profitable, right? He has estimated that editing an embryo would cost only about $5,000 and believes regulations could change in the future. So that's what they're ultimately aiming for. Preventive is the third U.S. startup this year to say it's pursuing technology to produce gene-edited babies. The first, Bootstrap Bio, based in California, is reportedly seeking seed funding and has an interest in enhancing human intelligence. Another, Manhattan Genomics, is also in the formation stage but has not announced funding yet. As of now, none of these companies have significant staff or facilities, and they largely lack any credibility among mainstream gene editing scientists. Reached by email, Fedor Urnov, an expert in gene editing at the University of California, Berkeley, where Harrington studied, said he believes such ventures should not move forward. Urnov has been a pointed critic of the concept of heritable genome editing, calling it dangerous, misguided, and a distraction from the real benefits of gene editing to treat adults and children. In his email, Urnov said the launch of still another venture into the area made him want to howl with pain. Harrington's venture was incorporated in Delaware in May 2025 under the Preventive Medicine PBC, or Public Benefit Corporation. As a public benefit corporation, it's organized to put its public mission above profits, right? So this isn't about profits. It's about serving humanity, right? That's what they're going to say. And he says, quote, if our research shows heritable genome editing cannot be done safely, that conclusion is equally valuable to the scientific community and society, Harrington wrote in his post. So again, what do you think the odds of that will be? That his research, he's going to conduct research and it's going to say, nope, can't be done safely, we shouldn't do it. Well, we read here, Harrington is a co-founder of Mammoth Biosciences, a gene editing company pursuing drugs for adults, and remains a board member there. So obviously he's pursuing through other ventures profitable gene editing. So this is a non-profit. This puts the public mission above profits. It's a public benefit corporation. But again, it's a PR gimmick to say, well, this should move forward. Look at this research that this non-profit public benefit corporation did. It says we should do it. So now we should do this. Right? That's what he's going to say. I think those odds are pretty good. ABC Corporation does commission someone to do a survey or a study on should we sell ABC Corporation products to the public? And look, the survey came back and said, yes, we should. So this concludes. It says Harrington thinks preventive could change such attitudes. That's what they're trying to do, is change attitudes. They want you to believe this is normal. If it shows that it's serious about doing responsible research. Quote, most scientists I speak with either accept embryo editing as inevitable or are enthusiastic about the potential but hesitate to voice these opinions publicly, he told MIT Technology Review earlier this year. Quote, part of being more public about this is to encourage others in the field to discuss this instead of ignoring it. And I would say no, the entire reason for doing this is to make you believe it's normal. They want the public to think that There are these great benefits to this. This is completely normal. It's completely safe. Nothing could go wrong, so that they can move forward with their for-profit corporations exploring this and messing with human DNA in the process and using babies as guinea pigs in their lab. That's what they want to do. And again, this is a complete affront to God. It's rebellion against God, outright rebellion. We read this in the Bible. This is from Psalm 139, verses 13 through 16. Well, this tells us who designs the babies to begin with. It says, "You made all the delicate inner parts of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it. You watched me as I was being formed in utter seclusion, as I was woven together in the dark of the womb. You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed." So God is the designer of babies. Yet these Silicon Valley entrepreneurs, they think, nope, God's got it wrong. We've got it right. We're going to be able to go in and we'll be able to redesign what God has originally designed, and we're going to do it better. Right? Again, this is outright rebellion against God. The Bible also says this in Isaiah chapter 45, verses 9 through 12. It says, "What sorrow awaits those who argue with their creator? Does a clay pot argue with its maker? Does the clay dispute with the one who shapes it, saying, 'Stop, you're doing it wrong'? Does the pot exclaim, 'How clumsy can you be?' How terrible it would be if a newborn baby said to its father, 'Why was I born?' Or if it said to its mother, 'Why did you make me this way?' This is what the Lord says, the Holy One of Israel and your Creator. Do you question what I do for my children? Do you give me orders about the work of my hands? I am the one who made the earth and created people to live on it. With my hands I stretched out the heavens. All the stars are at my command." Guys, this gene editing of babies is the height of human arrogance. It's telling God, the Creator, you did it wrong. We're going to do it better. Let us show you how it's done. And it's part of this transhumanist agenda that, again, dominates the thinking of Silicon Valley and world leaders in general. And ultimately, I believe where this is headed is straight to Armageddon. This is going to lead to the physical manifestation of the spiritual rebellion of mankind against the Lord and Creator. And that will culminate in an actual physical conflict at the Battle of Armageddon between Jesus and all of these transhumanists who will be led by the Antichrist at that point, that are going to be pushing for these very things, saying, we can do it better. We can throw off these shackles that God's put us in. How dare he hold us back? We're going to do it the right way. And we're gonna sit on our own throne. Guys, this is not going to turn out well for the people that are pushing this. It's just not going to turn out well for them. We know how the story ends. We know who is victorious in the end. Don't for a minute let them lead you to believe that this is normal, that doing this is normal, that this is a benefit to mankind. We need to be pushing back against these types of things as part of the church. We need to push back against it, and we need to be pointing this out and telling people, as this is where this is all heading. It's heading toward Armageddon. We are in the last days of the last days. Jesus and the prophets told us the signs to look for, and we see those signs. Jesus said, when you begin to see these things take place, know that I am near, right at the door. This is yet another reason to believe Jesus is near, right at the door. So take advantage of every moment you have to share the good news of Jesus Christ with a lost and dying world. So guys, let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. And God willing, I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.